How's it going, everyone? Pretty much wanted to work on the next episode for EndoPlasmite Plays Pokemon FireRed, which at this point is less of an actual Let's Play for the channel, and more so explaining all the things that are going on behind the scenes. So, with the introduction of this specific episode, does bring out the closure of Pokemon LeafGreen. However, as stated before at the end of the series, if there's anything that you guys want to specifically have me do, then just leave it in the comments section and I will see about it. Keeping that in mind, there are a few things that have happened between last episode and this one. Officially, all the Pokemon that were present within LeafGreen that did need to be transferred over have been transferred over. And it does occupy the full set of box spaces that were missing for certain areas. The Mewtwo here is the shiny Mewtwo, even though, as stated before, I'm not going to be able to do anything competitively. And I know that it shows the Macho Brace. The intention with trying to boost up Mewtwo with the Macho Brace is more so for this specific file, and something that I plan on doing towards the end of Pokemon Emerald. But that'll be a much later conversation. So going through, there are two specific Pokemon that are actually missing, which should be present. Because one of the other updates was it did finish my playthrough of Ruby. Swampert is actually here in my party, mostly for the factor of it having Surf. Bringing to the other Pokemon, as you saw, Deoxys. For those that weren't quite sure how exactly I did obtain Deoxys, you just have to watch the final episode of EndoPlasmite Plays Pokemon LeafGreen. But I did actually go through and get both sets of tickets using the mystery gift setup that was done in the final episode. So both of those worked. Keeping that in mind as well, that also technically means the Ho-Oh that's here is actually the regular Ho-Oh, one from my specific file. And as for the Lugia that was from Naval Rock, unfortunately, it's all the way over here in the trade-off section. Reason for that is very clear. There is a Lugia that was from Pokemon XD that, move-wise and level-wise and stat-wise, I don't want to part with, for obvious reasons. So obviously I'm not going to remove that just to replace it with that. We also did transfer over all of the shiny, well, genned in, I'd say, but it was using the cheat code that was present within the epilogue playback system, which also included the two Lugia and Ho-Oh. Which brings to the interesting factor about Deoxys. I misunderstood the process for how Deoxys keeps its forms, but essentially as soon as I were to try to trade over the defense form Deoxys that I obtained, it'll automatically turn into attack form. So the defense form Deoxys is actually still present inside Pokemon LeafGreen. Something else that was done behind the scenes is I went ahead and actually did more of the mail glitches, which I did that soon after I actually did the mail glitch episode for LeafGreen. So there's more Master Balls than usual. I did also increase the amounts, I think it was max revives I did. Yeah, I increased the amount of max revives. I increased the amount of big mushrooms by a lot. And I also transferred over some sets of items that were present in the previous game. But there's still some more items in LeafGreen that I need to bring over, which actually includes a lot of the TMs. So, yeah. That'll take a bit of work behind the scenes to actually do. I'm also technically debating transferring over the ones that even were normally sellable, like ones that I probably wasn't going to use, just for the factor of having it. going on further than that, I still do plan to take Pokemon that are from the PC here, transferring them over to XD, and working on getting their experience there. It's broken into 3 different categories for Pokemon that need training. Category 1 are any Pokemon that still needs to evolve and get to their max level that they learn a move. Good example would actually be with Nidoran and Nidorino, because once both of those get transferred over and evolved to, well, Nidorina for Nidoran, and once both of these achieve the highest level they can get where they get a move, I will evolve both of them into Nidoqueen and Nidoking. From that point, seeing any other moves that need to be obtained. They're obviously not the only Pokemon that I have that do need to try to learn more moves, but they're definitely in there. The other situation going on is there are some sets of Pokemon which actually, not with Swamperts, there was one in particular I was trying to actually transfer over to do that with. I don't think it was Blaziken either, but there was some Pokemon that at this point I'm trying to actually get to level 100. So the Skarmory here, Tyranitar here, I think are the only 2 that are actually at level 100. Everything else, I think, is still very weak in level. So that'll be some stuff that are going on behind the scenes with that. As stated kind of in the end of the last episode, and then the episode before that, I'm also going to branch away from doing the RPG series for a bit. Not a long time, just a little bit. When I branch away from it, I'll be playing different sets of Pokemon-based games as well, plus one secretive setup, I should say. Something that I tried to do multiple times in the past, and unfortunately was not quite successful with finalizing the whole process. But maybe with the factor of this channel, it might re-spark, reinvigorate, whatever you want to restate with my attempts to try to actually, you know, complete the thing that I'm trying to do. So that's how the progress is running so far with this game. I will leave things go off from there, and I'll see you guys in the next updates, which will be who knows when.